It's about time for us to take a quick look at what's happening on the covers of the dailies this morning. Mike and myself will be doing what we can to do this justice. And it's November 11th, Monday, November 11th. I know we've already said that today. A very important day. We're going to start with the Punch newspaper now. It says here, state's debt hits 11.4 trillion naira as federal allocations rise. Foreign debt hits $4.89 billion as states owe 4.27 trillion naira local debt. Lagos, Rivers, Kaduna, Delta, Edo top charts. That's the major headline there. Beside the masthead, it says here, troops launch manhunt as Lukwarawa intensifies killings in Sokoto and Kebbi. Ministries making illegal requests for workers' promotion, according to a memo there. In the photo story there, we have the President, Bola Tinubu, and Deputy Governor of Riyadh, Prince Mohammed Abdulrahman, during Tinubu's arrival for the Arab Islamic Summit at King Abdulaziz International Airport in Riyadh, Saudi Arabia on Sunday. Let's see what else we have here. It says, husband arrested for allegedly setting wife ablaze in Ogun State. And traders demand 3.4 billion naira compensation for Lagos market demolition. That's what we have on the cover of the Punch. Interesting. I'm wondering about the Lagos market demolition. I'm not sure if you've followed that story.
No. What was is there any reason given for that? Which was any particular market?
So I'll have to confirm which one. This
from the story. Well, why was it? What the headline says? Why was it?
Yes, compensation. They're demanding compensation.
Compensation. That should be considered standard. Before even. It should be a standard. It should be a standard. The other one. Remember the landmark demolition and the Minister of Works, David Umahi, who has been talking about compensation, even having been paid 50% compensation. So even before, if people are somewhere, yes, we know that all lands by default belong to government. Yes. But people have already bought these lands, and if government needs to take them back, right, before even it starts, this is not, it shouldn't be an afterthought. It should even be before. Compensation, that's how a government takes care of its tax-paying population.
So now my question is, if that has already been in talks and maybe this particular set of traders were not even aware of what had been in talks. Sometimes there's some information that sort of stays at the top until those... And
it doesn't get disseminated as much as it should be.
It doesn't trickle down.
That is also, when it comes to demolition, at times, when you hear from other people, you hear something quite different. You hear that, notices were sent. And then some people come and say, no, we just got it one day or 2 days or 1 week and all of that. That's why, as much as possible, these notices are made public. You'll see newspaper cutouts of people, change of name, notice of, maybe eviction or something. When they are made public, as at the first time when they were sent out, then you can be sure that you have something to hold on to and nobody will come.
And there are a lot of these buildings that are even marked. And then people sort of ignore the mark or sadly still go ahead, paint over it.
And yes, I know. You don't know the reason why it was marked. Sometimes it might be over a canal, sometimes it might be the passageway, it might be drainage, it might even be pipeline, a lot of reasons. And then you even paint over it. No, that's you should find out why.
Exactly. Yeah, you should find out why
it was marked
and when it will be sorted. We'll be watching that story as well. We have the Daily Times newspaper here. Says presidency, Atiku, envious of Tinubu's position, misunderstands Nigeria's current reality, says ex-VP has shown more interest in undermining president than in addressing his party's internal crisis. It also says here, Nigeria's fiscal deficit surges to 7.6% of GDP, exceeding targets. Sanwo-Olu calls for collaboration to make Lagos Africa's powerhouse. NLC demands swift government action on economic hardship and fuel pricing. And it also says at the bottom here, NAF neutralizes scores of terrorists in Kebbi and Zamfara. Page 3 has more information on that. I'm thinking we should go on to the next paper here.
Just to mention, of course, we mentioned it during the story where the presidency responded to the former vice president. All I would say about that is that a thriving democracy would always have an opposition, and it is the job of the opposition to keep the incumbent party on their toes. So yes, that should be welcomed. It is democracy, and yeah, let the rule of law, let democracy thrive. Yeah.
We're definitely a few stories shy of getting to that point where, okay, so you know, keeping people on their toes is one thing, right? But you know what? Let me just move on to the next.
Yeah.
Let me move on to the next paper. How tax reform bills will boost revenue of 4 tiers of government by panel. It says, the Nation newspaper says here, payment consolidated, the rich to pay more, VAT favors states and councils, that's VAT, favors states and councils. On the Ondo 2024 says here, Ganduje Jimo Ibrahim solicits support for Ayedatiwa, and IG warns against political interference and violence. 6,000 NSCDC personnel for election duties, and police announce traffic diversion in Akure. Discos insists consumers must pay for meters replacement.
Amo, let's end this one on that note.
Okay.
Has that come across to you, this meter replacement? Has it come across to you? I don't want to know.
I've heard about it.
Is it. So we've been given, there's a deadline of, I think, Tuesday or Wednesday for it.
For it, yeah.
There's a lot about that thing. I don't know, maybe people at the second half of Come for Banter will talk about it. I don't understand
a lot of,
that's what is happening. It's not, and then you have to pay the charges over 100 or 150K.
And it's actually in most communities where they can't actually afford that most of these people will be affected the most. But we'll definitely be looking out for what's happening in that particular area as well. We'd love to hear your thoughts on our headlines this morning. Use our hashtag WakeUpNigeria on TBC. Let's take a quick break. We'll be back after this.